What's up guys, Gabriel Varga here. Today we're going to be talking about pearls of wisdom from 4 amazing champions: Israel, Adesanya, Lewis, Bocao, and Canelo. Information that when I was climbing the ranks, before I won the titles behind me, information I would have given my pinky finger for. Lop this pinky off and give me the information, because I wanted to know what it took to become a champion, what information these champions could give me to help me on my journey to becoming Glory Champion, ISKA Champion, Bellator Champion, one of those titles. That's all I wanted. So let's dive into these quotes today and see what these amazing athletes have to say. Okay guys, there are so many champions out there and they all have their own unique way of reaching the top. Some people rely on really hard training. Some people go about it having like a mental fortitude unlike anybody else. Some people are looking at skill or maybe durability or cardio. All I wanted to know in the past was, what are the best fighters doing and what can I copy to be more like them? So today we're looking at 4 quotes from 4 champions that are just amazing information. If somebody could have packed all these quotes into one book and sold it to me, I would have taken it for sure. So today I want to share with you guys, out of all the information I've compiled, 4 very important quotes from 4 very important champions. And we will start with Canelo.
Soy una persona que siempre le gusta, si estoy de vacaciones, siempre le gusta correr, hacer algo en el gimnasio, ¿no? Siempre me gusta estar activo. Mi cuerpo me lo pide.
I absolutely love this little segment from him because it talks about the question that so many people constantly ask: how hard do you train? When do you take breaks? I very, very rarely take breaks in my fight career. I always have hard training and then light training. But when you hear of a lot of fighters who fluctuate, you know, they're in fight camp and they get their weight down to maybe, let's say, 150 pounds. And then outside of fight camp, they don't do anything. They get up to 200 pounds and they're constantly putting their body through up and down stressors. You're in shape, you're not in shape. You're in shape, you're not in shape. This is going to do a couple of very negative things to you. And first and foremost, when you go from in shape and out of shape, in shape and out of shape, it is hard on your body. And I believe it will decrease the longevity of your career. It also makes it very difficult for you to have any upwards trajectory if you are constantly going down and then up and down and up. You want to be on a continual path upwards, maybe with a few little dips, tiny little plateaus, but you're not crashing down because you go out drinking, do drugs, stop doing your proper training in between camps. It doesn't need to be the same intensity and the same volume, but like Canelo says, his body asks for it. Our body always wants to be used. We want to be fit and exercise. It makes us feel good. It's something that we're meant to do. We're not meant to sit down on a couch all day long. And like him, even when I'm on vacation, I am out working out. I'm going for runs in the morning. I'm hitting the gym in the afternoon. Again, they're not massive, super intense exercises of like an hour to 2 hours, but if you're going in, you're getting a half hour in the morning, a half hour at night, you're kind of doing 60 to 70% intensity. That is perfect. So try and be like Canelo. Be a little bit more like me. Even when you're on vacation, go out for your jogs, get to the gym, stay active, stay fit, so that when you start fight camp up, you are not too out of shape. Next up, guys, we're looking at Israel Adesanya's quote.
Visualization is if not one of the most powerful weapons or tools you have at your arsenal, and a lot of people fail to use that because they lack no imagination.
Essentially, he is confirming what I've come to realize throughout the length of my career, that your brain is so strong, and if you use visualization, it can be just as good a tool as your body. You can have your body in tip-top shape. You can have your body strong and ready to deal with punches and kicks and take abuse. But if mentally you are not there, you will not make it through the fight. You will not get your win. So how do we visualize? We have so many different ways we can visualize, so many different things we can visualize. I often use visualization as a tool when I'm getting nervous. I face my fear, whatever is bothering me, whatever is scaring me, I think about it. I close my eyes and I take somewhere between 60 seconds and 5 minutes and think about what's scaring me and play out the situation in my head. So when it actually comes time to that moment becoming a reality, I've already lived it so many times in my head. It's not as nerve-wracking, it's not as scary. You can also use visualization to prepare for your opponent. You know, if you're in the gym, you're hitting the bag, you're not just banging away, just going, okay, hit the bag, hit the bag, hit the bag. You can imagine your opponent's movement. You can visualize what the fight will be like, what they're going to throw at you, getting out of the way, throwing your shot, dipping under, doing whatever you're going to do. Visualization does not just need to be meditation with your eyes closed. It can be used in the gym all the time. I really believe in it. Israel believes in it. I'm sure there are so many other champions who will swear by this technique to make you a much, much better fighter. Next up, guys, we're looking at Lennox Lewis, one of the greatest heavyweight champions ever, and he says, if you take the shortcut to success, you miss out on the struggle and experience that the long road provides. That long road will offer foundation that will serve you well when you reach the top. So when we break this down, what does he mean? What is he really saying? The way I look at that and I interpret it is, don't try and breeze through the early part of your career. And I was guilty of this when I was an amateur. You know, I had my first 8 fights, and then I started fighting for titles. Once I started fighting for titles at a Canadian and North American level, I wanted right away to get to the world title. Once I got my first amateur world title there, right away I'm like, okay, I want to go pro. And very, very wise, the ISKA president said, whoa, whoa. You've won 1 amateur world title. Pro's a little bit of a different level. Let's slow down, defend your belt once. I did that. He suggested, okay, move up a weight class. I did that. I won the belt. And then he went, no, let's see you defend that a couple times. At the time I was going, well, I won an amateur world title. What else is there to do? Why am I still here? Why am I not pro? But just like Lennox Lewis says, all that time I spent there really provided a base, a foundation, so that once I climbed up through the pro ranks and I got to the top, all that extra time I had at amateur stage, at the very high level of being an amateur, really served me well. We could be talking in terms of technique, but more importantly, experience in the ring, dealing with different situations, dealing with coming out, having a fight, and in the first round you're losing and you have to come back and make adjustments. If you're a really, really high skilled level guy, you might not experience that until you get to a very high level. But what happens if it's, you know, your first pro world title fight and you've won every round of every fight, and all of a sudden you come out and you lose 2 rounds and there's 3 rounds left and you have to win all of the next 3. All the struggles, all the pain, everything you experience throughout your whole career will help you when you get to the top, because everybody wants what you have. Being at the top is the hardest spot. I, in my career, have really thrived when I'm at number 2 or, you know, rank number 3, because I'm looking for that belt. I'm striving to get somewhere. Both times when I won the Glory title, I went, you know what? I'm number 1 in the world. What else is there? And then I lost the belt because that motivation, that urge to move forward, to get myself better and better was sort of gone. Everything you learn early in your career, that foundation you build, technique-wise, experience-wise, mental, that will all help you when you get to that very, very hard level of being number 1. Whether it's number 1 in the world, number 1 in your country, number 1 in the province or state you live in, whether it's amateur or pro. Savor all the time that you have climbing the ranks, taking your time, so that when you get to the top, at no point you're like, whoa, I'm completely in over my head and I can't deal with this, and then you have to jump back a couple stages. Very, very wise words from Lennox Lewis. And finally, guys, words I have lived my whole career by since I saw Bocao make this quote in a K1 Max press conference. He said, I believe whoever will train the hardest is going to win. Now, obviously, this is a very open-ended statement, and don't be so naive to go, okay, you know what? I train the hardest, which means I'm going to win every time. It's not just down to that, but the mentality is what's important. The way I've always looked at it is, if you slack in your training camp, you know, oh, I gave 95%, and you head into the ring, you're going to have that shred of doubt. You're going to go, whoa, I didn't train as hard as I could have. And when you don't train as hard as you could have and somebody else trained that little bit harder, when you're talking about high level, where tiny little shifts make all the difference. Sometimes a pound or 2 will give the other guy the advantage. Sometimes somebody had a better sleep or less travel. If all of that makes a difference, of course, somebody training harder than the other can make a difference. It doesn't guarantee you a win, but it definitely puts you at your best and gives you the best shot of victory. So I have always trained with that idea in mind. If I don't give my best, I'm not going to be my best, and whoever trains the hardest will most likely win the fight. And I've trained alongside Bocao. I know that's not something that he's done his whole career, that he's trained 100% his hardest his whole career. He's had little downsides where he's needed a break because he's probably been pushing realistically since he was like 7, but still, very wise words. Everybody should think about it. Everybody should implement it into their training camp. Push yourself as hard as you can, smartly. You don't need to go in and be like, oh, I'm sparring 20 rounds tonight because last camp I sparred 15 and then the camp before that I was sparring 10. You do everything smart, but you still push yourself. All 4 of these quotes that we saw today, guys, I have lived so much of my career by them. They've helped me structure who I am as a fighter, how I'm going to prepare for events, physically and mentally. Guys, which one of these quotes really hit home with you here? Which one do you think is going to serve you best in your career? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys have another quote that has just really inspired you, that has helped you train the way you train or prepare the way you prepare, throw it down below for other people as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you have not, get subscribed. Train hard, guys, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.